Gentlemen, did you hear about Universal Music Group?
Who?
What happened?
Who's that?
Yeah, so we all know that about 10 years ago, there was a warehouse full of the master tapes for a bunch of legendary musicians, like Chuck Berry and the
Like
original.
people that are dead.
Like
Yes.
they could never make music
Are you
again?
applying the... Yeah, like back when the master tapes really mattered, because it was analog recording.
It seems like a bad idea to put all those in one place.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just me.
And I tend to think such things are pretty flammable.
Sure.
But here's my point. We knew that their storage facility burned down about 10 years ago and lost a bunch of priceless tapes.
That was 10 years ago? I thought that was recent.
So here's why you heard about it recently. They really downplayed initially the extent of the damage.
Yikes.
So now the estates of Tom Petty and Tupac Shakur and a
Was
bunch
Prince
of other artists.
in that too?
Probably.
Okay.
But a lot of them are coming after him because apparently they got like $150 million in like a payout from insurance.
Oh, man.
And they really downplayed it and didn't share that with the artist affected. So
Universal Music Group on my shit list.
also real entertaining iHeartRadio article online.
Yeah?
It's the same story I just told, but they didn't say a state of said artist. So they make it seem like Tom Petty and Tupac rose from the grave to sue Universal Music Group.
Duo. I'm on board.
But that is the thing, by the way. I mean, everyone knew about the old chess recordings, like blues musicians, jazz musicians, but even artists up to the 90s, it affected them.
That's fucked up. That's real fucked up. And what, like...
I think it's Soundgarden and Hole are involved in it too.
Yes, okay, yeah, I did see that Soundgarden was involved. That's terrible, also.
But anyway.
Fuck Universal Music Group. And, hey, welcome, everyone. It is Tuesday, June 25th. It is not a Wednesday. Welcome to episode... Shit. Welcome to Season 2, Episode 6 of Bliss Point, a podcast, a website serving up music discussion, news, show, and album reviews, and more, giving you breaking news on all the new Universal Music Group updates. They're going to go bankrupt, probably. Who knows? Don't quote me on that. My name is Jordan Kaufman, and I'm joined by my lovely co-hosts, Billy Gatewood.
Hey.
And Paul Cole.
Hi.
Hey, how's it going? No shows this week, surprisingly.
Wow.
Which is crazy. It's been a while since we've not had a show. But speaking of shows, we're gonna get into our singles, which are part of our what we've been listening to, which is the best, worst, good, noteworthy, mediocre, important, and consequential, sometimes album-related shows, singles, no shows, and new releases of the week. And for single of the week, we have Black Belt Eagle Scout at the Party. What do we think? What do we think, gentlemen?
I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Yeah, me too.
It was
for like your, they seem like very indie bait, like that kind
absolutely.
of like, people are gonna overhype them and they're gonna release an album and I'm gonna be disappointed. But the single's really good.
Yeah, for now, don't worry about that. Just give in to it.
Yeah,
Enjoy the mellow sounds.
Give into the hype. Yeah, it's very good.
Yeah, who'd you compare it to?
I don't know if their sound is very similar, but like in terms of like that wave of like Japanese Breakfast and like Mitski,
Yes.
like female-led indie rock that's like getting super hyped. I can see her being that level.
Yeah,
very soon.
accurate.
Sturgill Simpson is
Yes.
here with the track from the new movie, The Dead Don't Die. The track is of the same title, and it's a solid country track. It's great.
In the real sense, right?
Yes,
This
this
is
is
top
real
40.
country. This ain't your top 40 mama's bullshit.
Yeah, if you guys didn't know, Sturgill Simpson's, he's known for not being gimmicky. So
Shut up with that.
He did this track
being
for a
So Billy
a
thinks
movie.
that if you do the track for a movie, you're gimmicky,
This fucking ass.
as
If you
opposed to a
write
metal
real
band that has an actual
serious-
goblin man on stage.
I'm all about the gimmick. I'm all about it. But
It's not a gimmick. Goblins aren't gimmicks. Goblins are real.
hey, I mean he does brings that show to a whole nother level.
Anyway, Sturgill Simpson's great. Billy
and
can
very much
die.
not
The
gimmicky.
dead don't die, Jordan.
Oh, sorry. I didn't know we were in that timeline as well. Speaking of things that don't die, Big KRIT is here, back again with a single. Mr. Underground, Mr. Underrated. Single's called KRIT Here. It's very good.
It is real good. I really liked it.
It's a solid Atlanta. It's not a typical trap track. I shouldn't say it's typical Atlanta.
No, that snare sound's playing around. It's like playing with it a little bit.
It's real good.
But it's much more interesting than that.
Yes.
And even the video is really nice.
Yes, it is.
Like
solid verses from KRIT and good chorus as well. So very much looking forward to his next project. Speaking of choruses, I was real impressed by this Joji track.
Yeah.
I brought his album, I think, last year. I'm pretty sure I brought his album last year. And I know I was disappointed with his kind of, unaffected voice and kind of, monotone style, but he's stepping it up.
Yeah, I would say I definitely wasn't all that thrilled with his stuff last year, but sure. I liked the single more than I thought I would, and like you said, he's branching out a little bit. He's trying to expand his vocal range, do a little bit more.
Getting into that pop star lifestyle.
Yeah,
and I'm on board. This next track, really like a rapper that I definitely miss for sure. Mac Miller, obviously, I think passed away last year, but there's a new track featuring him and Sia. It's by a producer called 88 Keys. Song's called That's Life. Just like good old school, like upbeat, jazzy Mac Miller. Like a lot of good horns on it. Good production. And nice little Sia verse at the end.
Yeah, even the hook's pretty nice. It's not like blow you out of the water, but yeah. I'm trying to look past just kind of the tugging at the heartstrings.
Sure.
Another Mac Miller track.
Yeah,
because he really is. He was really developing it as an artist.
Yes.
Right when he left. So
yeah, and I don't know the story behind this track. I assume the producer had it and it was pretty much finished, so he wanted to get it out there. Just because, like, of all of the rappers that have passed away recently, I feel like a lot of people were drawn to Mac in his passing. So definitely, it was a lot of heartfelt, actual emotion, not like cashing in on his death. So, but yeah, this next track. Guy called Cuco. Track is called Feelings. Billy, you said you'd heard this previously?
Yeah. He seems I could be wrong, but seems to be kind of on the upswing on the indie bandwagon, and he's
and I could get on board.
This
seems
track
a little
is good.
Different than like your typical, like it's very dreamy, like very kind of hazy.
Yeah,
Paul, you said 70s influenced.
Yeah, more so than 80s.
Yeah, it's got that real nice bass.
With just a hint of Latin flair, like I think he really does. Like especially on the older stuff. Like he tries to kind of throw in just a little.
I mean, his
vibe.
album title is in Spanish, so my guess was that he was also going to release Latin flavored pop.
Yeah.
So, hey, it's a solid track. Next two, so Marvin Bagley, yes, it is the power forward from the Sacramento Kings. Went on First Take, the terrible, awful, terrible show with Stephen A. Smith, and said that he was the greatest freestyle rapper in the NBA currently. Full well knowing that Damian Lillard has also put rap music out there before, which was actually not acclaimed, but a lot of people really enjoyed it. Like, he's actually pretty talented. So he released a diss track called No Debate. Doesn't mention Dame by name, but is definitely coming at him. It's a fine diss track. Feels like a little, like, not a good lo-fi. Like, the production feels kind of...
It's pretty amateur.
Yeah, it feels amateurish. And Damian Lillard fired back, like, almost immediately with 2 diss tracks. We listened to one called Marvin, and it's great. It's really good.
Yeah.
Responds to a lot of Bagley's comments in kind, and just comes at him with, like, better verses, better song structure, I think, and way better production.
Yeah, it's way more polished.
Yeah. I'm not going to talk about that one because none of us really liked it. I'm going to skip it. Hobo Johnson.
Glad we made reference to it then.
I don't know why. I don't know if you guys were into it. I really like this track. I think the guitar is really cool. One of you said it's like a good, like, white kid college party song.
Yeah,
that's
it's basically what it is.
That's the best way to describe it.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of fun. He's been kind of building some hype. He's kind of in the, like, pseudo rap of, like, 21 Pilots kind of area of music.
And Billy, you made that point too. It is very accessible rap for people that don't typically like hip hop, right?
Yeah, for sure. But I think it's a fun track. Definitely should check out, especially if you're not huge into like modern hip hop.
Right, I sounded negative there. Like accessible is not always bad.
No, it's safe hip hop.
It's a fun track.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a good fun track and fun video.
Speaking
Like if you're listening to Big Crit, like it's probably not your.
no,
it's not for you.
No, absolutely not. Yeah, this next track, I was very excited for because I like them. I think they're cool. Tiny Moving Parts, new track, Medicine. They have a new album coming out in September. Little too like soft boy. For me.
It's softer than I was expecting for at least the debut single for a new album.
Let's see what the rest of it sounds like.
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad track at all.
Yeah.
I really like it, and it does fit in with tracks off their older albums. But I was surprised it didn't come out with like one of their bangers with high energy.
Yes, and per usual, like guitar work is great.
Oh yeah.
Like, very, very good. The best part about the track.
Yeah, just like like you said, no screaming. He doesn't really amp up his voice much in the track.
It has me excited. Like I don't think I've ever really gotten into them, so I'm looking forward to actually listening to a full record.
I can't believe that he plays that technically while singing.
It's wild.
Yeah, it is because he does a lot of tapping, right?
Oh, ton.
Okay, yeah.
He's so technical.
Yeah,
he's the only guitarist.
Oh,
yeah, it's just a three-piece band.
Shit.
To tell you the truth, that's the only thing that not that that's the only good quality, but it's the only thing that would draw me to this band as opposed to any other emo kind of.
Yeah, the guitar work is great. In this last track, definitely a nice surprise. Billy coming through with surprises.
Thanks.
Amanda Tenfjord, I hope I pronounced that correctly. Track called Troubled Water. Excellent track.
Cool. I'm glad you guys liked it.
Very good. Production was really, really good. And that hook is awesome as well.
Right.
So,
yeah, I think she's kind of on the rise as well. She's a Norwegian, I believe.
Okay.
Singer-songwriter.
I hope so.
With the name Tenfjord, you don't say.
Her style kind of reminds me of Kelsey Lou a little bit.
Uh-huh.
Like it's got that like kind of orchestral, like very like big sound.
Yeah.
And the chorus is just fucking really anthemic. It's nice. And that concludes our singles. So we're gonna jump into shout outs. First one, Jinx, by band Crumb. I really like this record a lot. It's really short. It's really sweet. It's a little samey, but it's like super hazy, jazzy, psychedelic kind of dream pop record with these like cool ethereal vocals. And it's just, it kind of hit that sweet spot for me. It was like really nice, like walking around music, like especially when it's hot outside. It just hits that mood for me a lot. I really like it. Mr. Billy.
Yeah.
Got quite a few.
I mean, I don't know, just albums that I was interested in listening to and took a quick peek at. Didn't get fully invested in them, but
I do want to know about this Two Door Cinema Club.
Yeah, Two Door Cinema Club, new album, False Alarm. First one they've put out, I guess, quite a few years.
It feels, because I was really, really into them in college,
right?
And they kind of took a while in between their like first record or their like breakout record and their second one. And then I didn't really like the second one. They just kind of fell off.
Yeah, and they've kind of branched away. This album is like real top-notch quality production, like some high-dollar stuff.
Sure.
A lot of like elements of indie dance and like house music as well.
Do they still do the cool guitar line?
Like not as, it's much more electronic than their older stuff, but in a cool way. Like kind of like parts of it reminded me of like Holy Ghost and some of the more analog electronica, not necessarily just like synth, but like some cool analog parts.
Like
but
dancey.
Yeah, it's just and it's like I said, it's overproduced, so it's really got like that dance vibe to it. And his voice is always solid. I really like his singing, so I mean it's worth a listen if you're into that kind of stuff. Another one that was on the radar was Keepsake by Hatchie. A lot of hype for it. I was disappointed in it.
Yeah, it's got that like real '80s dream pop vibe.
It's just it's shoegazy dream poppy, but it doesn't have any dynamic to it for me. So I was disappointed, but again, it had a lot of hype. So
it has a couple hits on there.
Yeah,
I think are pretty good.
Shameless plug for Tritonal. They released their You and Me album. I actually enjoyed it quite a bit. I thought it was a very cohesive album. Has a lot of really good tracks on it, a lot of good vocal features.
And do you get a cut of their sales or something?
He wishes.
I mean, that ship has sailed.
You said shameless plug.
One question. I think I overheard you talking about this in the car last weekend. Is this album full of like a lot of old material that they finally released?
Not necessarily old material. Just they've been putting out singles for this album over the last 6 to 9 months.
Oh,
so they've released a lot of singles. They've already done their like album tour. Like they literally did like the You and Me tour. So they released probably 6 or 7 singles over the course of
so people
the
have
last
heard
a lot of it, but it's 19 tracks, and which I was like, I'm never for tracks or albums over like 10, maybe 11 tracks. Yeah. But I didn't find it to be too repetitive. Nice. I actually sat down in one list and listened to all 19 tracks and was relatively into it.
Describe for the folks at home like what kind of EDM it is.
Oh man, melodic.
It's like
festival
poppy,
EDM.
like,
it's your typical like radio type EDM.
Yeah. This last one, I got confused and made this my new release, but actually wanted to make it a shout out because I liked it way more than my new release. Full disclaimer, this is a very, very, very weird record. Probably my favorite album title of this year. Schlagenheim by a band called Black Midi. They're a new math rock, dissonant noise rock out of the UK. Ton of hype going into this record. And I liked some of the teasers, but like the vocals were just way too weird for me. But I really listened to it and sat down and really, really got into it. And the vocals are definitely not the best, and they're not what you go to that album for. It's the guitars and the bass and the drums. Probably the best drums I've heard on a record all year, and probably will hear all year. Just insane drum work. So good.
Is Schlagenheim located above Midgard?
Probably. Nice.
It's real weird.
Yeah, it is very weird.
It's real weird.
It is real weird. And let's jump into new releases. So I got one. Mr. The Raconteurs came out with a new record. Help Me Stranger came out on this past Friday. I have been excited for this record for probably 10 years or so. I can't remember the last time their last record came out. And I don't know if those records are still good to me because of nostalgia or if they're actually really good, but I still really like them a lot. And I don't know if this record is disappointing because their style's always been the same or what. But I couldn't help be a little disappointed by it. There's some solid tracks, a couple duds. Nothing really grabbing me all that much. The first half of the record is definitely much better than the second half. There's a terrible song on there called Hey Jip, which is the worst song I've heard. And it definitely didn't know this until today. Has I didn't know Jip was a slur until today. So
really,
yeah, it's not a good look in today's times, and especially since it's such a bad song. So I don't know. But yeah, the more upbeat tracks are very raconteurs and very solid. So definitely check it out if you're a big fan. Favorite tracks: Bored and Raised and Don't Bother Me. Jump into our album of the week.
Okay.
And we have...
That's fine. I'll just skip
Hey,
over
Oh,
mine.
shit.
I do have to ask though.
I totally forgot about yours. My bad. What's up?
Did you get a great dad rock vibe from that Raconteurs album?
I did.
Like if you have a dad, and he's a middle to maybe older white man.
Yeah.
He would really dig that.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Fashions himself like a Led Zeppelin fan. Like, my Led Zeppelin's my favorite band. Raconteurs is definitely...
There is a track on there that sounds like a mashup of Eric Clapton songs. Well, Eric Clapton / JJ Cale.
Yeah.
It's like the progression to Knocking on Heaven's Door, and then there's a melody that's just short of Layla, or not Layla. Anyway, I'm dragging us, but
I got you.
It's not bad.
No,
it's just it's kind of like Jack White's most beloved, but also least experimental project.
Yep, very true.
But I'm happy it's here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm surprised you don't like it as much as I thought you would. I
No.
took like a quick listen to it, and I was like, this seems like it would be exactly what anybody would look for in this kind of album.
That's my problem, is where I was 10 years ago when I
It's not
found one of
okay.
those records.
Gotcha.
It's not where I am now.
Gotcha.
And they're fun to listen to, but it's not what I want
Yeah.
for something new.
Gotcha.
Right, and the thing is that all of us really love Consolers of the Lonely and the other album, and it's just not going to be the same thing.
Right. Yeah.
Even if it were just as good but different,
yeah, and
your brain wants that.
And going along that same path, the music is completely different. Like back then, it felt super fresh and loud and raucous, and now it feels a little neutered. That's all. I'm sorry,
Maybe it's
Billy.
indicative of where they are in their life. Yeah, Billy.
I'm sorry to have skipped over.
Oh,
you.
it's okay.
I completely
It's
forgot.
fine.
What do you have for your new release?
Well, I have How We Got By Air Review. Never had heard of them before, but apparently
It's a cool band name.
Yeah, it is kind of. Yeah. Never heard of them, but it's their first album in like 6 years.
Okay.
They are kind of like, I guess they were indie pop. This new album's more of like a morose kind of melancholy synth pop.
Okay.
Over the last several years, each band member has gone through some pretty traumatic events.
Is that why they haven't made a record for 6 years?
Or they just weren't even planning to make music anymore. They were kind of all going
fair
to
enough.
live their adult lives,
Sure.
and then each of them ended up going through some pretty traumatic stuff. I guess the lead singer and his wife had fostered a child, and then due to some bureaucratic mistakes, after a few years, they took the child away from
Oh,
them
no.
and gave it back to the family, who was
Jesus
not
Christ.
like capable of caring for the child. So they thought they had this new kid,
Yeah.
and it was taken away. And then all the other band members had gone through some crazy like family deaths and stuff
Sure.
like that. So they, I guess, got together and started writing some stuff out, and it really comes through in this album that it is a little bit more on the melancholy, sad side of things.
Is it like sparse in that sort of way? Or is
so
it like...
what I would
On a scale from Party Anthem to Brick.
Right. So what I would kind of compare it to is it's almost like Tender meets like The National.
Okay.
It's a weird kind of like, they have some really cool experimental type drum stuff.
Cool.
Drum things that like The National's doing now.
Sure.
But it's also got a lot of like the synth that like Tender kind of uses.
Okay.
So it's kind of dreamy, kind of shoegazy, but
Definitely trying to pull on those heartstrings.
yeah. So I enjoyed it quite a bit. Some of my favorite tracks were You Won't Be Coming Home, You Gotta Love Somebody, and Threads.
Okay. I love it. Speaking of things that I love, this record that you and I both love.
Yeah.
I'm very stoked about this. Album of the week. We only have one this week.
Universal.
Doubling up.
It's definitive.
Universal album of the week. The only time this will ever happen. That's not true. Anyway,
It's because I didn't vote.
Clairvoyant by State Faults.
Yeah.
Little bit of background. Never heard of these guys before. I don't remember where I found them. They released a single not too long ago that I checked out and was like, oh, that's cool. I'm going to add it to my list. Listen to it on Friday. It's fucking awesome. It's real rad. Also haven't put out an album in 6 years.
Really?
Yeah, weirdly enough.
Interesting.
I don't know. Like, they're pretty small, so I don't know what compelled them to do that or if they just took a break or whatever.
Yeah, it's a long time.
But so I really kind of want to know. I'm going to go back and listen to their old stuff to see if this is much different. Because this feels like a really fresh take on modern post-hardcore and post-rock and post-metal and kind of blending those genres together
Oh, yeah.
in a really, really good, punchy, accessible fashion. Like, record's 36 minutes long.
Yeah.
And it's fucking spares no expense on, like, emotional cost and fucking getting in and out with, like, tight instrumentals and amazing drums. Like just this close to Black Midi for me this week. Like, the drums are just produced so well.
He's holding his
Yeah.
fingers really close together.
Yeah, it's very. You can't see it at home, but they're like maybe
it's a very small
millimeter
space,
apart.
everyone.
Yeah, they're very, very close. But yeah,
It's just some of the most interesting music I've heard in a long time. The choice to produce it the way they did, you showed me it, and I was taking a listen, and I couldn't believe how the drums were produced. For one, it sounds like very DIY, like bedroom post-hardcore.
It sounds kind of flat.
It's so flat. There's no dynamic to it. There's no effects added. There's no compression or anything to the snare. Just needs something to pop a little bit.
Yes, for sure.
But yet it's clearly done intentionally. Like that's the style they're going for. So it's a band that I would really kill to see live and see like what the difference sounds like live, because it's so heavy. The drums are so insane.
Yeah.
But some of it's taken for granted because of the production style.
Absolutely.
But,
the fucking drums are like, for someone that is going to that music for anything else, like you would the technicality behind those drums, but how it's not just fucking, wild double bass that you can't even like break apart. It feels raw, and it feels like he did it in that room with the rest of the band there.
Exactly.
And just got so much emotion to the record.
Yeah.
That it just keeps me coming back. It's so good.
It's really good.
You can have a really cool vibe, or you can have intricate EQ.
True.
You can pick one.
Very true. And they went for the indie approach.
Yes, they did.
My favorite tracks are Sacrament, Cemetery Lights, Dreamcatcher Part 2. Did you like anything else in particular?
Those sound good to me.
Okay. Those sound great. All of them are very good.
They are. I mean, it really is a great album, and it's paced so well.
Yeah, like I said, it's super short.
Yeah.
It's like...
Because the first song's like 6 minutes, and you're like, how is this album only 36 minutes long?
Yeah. It is amazing to me. Honestly, half the reason I fucking like it is because it's less than 40 minutes long.
Yeah.
Like, they knew what they wanted to do, and they got it, and they did it right.
Exactly.
What if that's the thing this year? Is after a year of like 2-hour albums,
I hope so, man. Like,
everybody trims the fat and just does a
tired of
tight 30.
long ass boring albums. So, related artists converge at Deaf Heaven. Did I forget anything else? Is that it? Are we good?
I think that's it.
Okay.
Everything that matters.
Everything that matters. If you're curious about the singles and albums we talked about today, there will be a playlist up on the site containing all the singles and the best tracks from this week's albums. That website is bliss.house, bliss.haus. Check out everything that we do on all the places, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, etc., etc. Hey, thanks for coming, guys.
Sorry for chewing my gum all night.
I don't think anybody could hear you. I didn't even know you were chewing gum.
Perfect.
So.
Right. That's why I put it on a screen and showed it to you instead of saying it aloud.
Exactly.
Oh. But now they know how the sausage is made.
Exactly. Good job, Billy.
Thank
Proud of you.
But I want to thank you both.
I just want to be transparent and honest.
Absolutely. We appreciate that.
Anything.
That's a moderately okay policy. I want to thank you both for doing all the heavy lifting tonight.
Hey,
Oh,
anytime, man.
greatly
We're just glad that
appreciate
you're
it.
here. We're just glad that you're here.
Always.
Always, we love you. Take care of yourselves. See you next time.
Always
Visit
with 2 V's.
Bliss.house, bliss.hus for all of our content.